Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing sort of my second Q&A leading up to the third last episode of The Walking Dead Season 6. This one, Season 6, Episode 14, which is called Twice as Far. And spoiler warning if you guys have not seen episode 13 yet, of course, as usual. So, if you guys missed anything this weekend, did the usual stuff, the review, predictions, everything like that. Then we did a good Q&A talking about whether or not we think we're going to see Dwight this week coming up in episode 14. I think it's a lock, so it's pretty cool. So I don't have like a title for this one like I sometimes do, because I don't have like one question that sticks out as like the question for this one. We're just going to talk about some random different questions you guys sent me, and I'm going to give my thoughts on them. And thanks for all the get well soon comments, guys. Really appreciate it. I am actually starting to feel quite a bit better today, and my throat's coming back to normal. My voice. I think sometimes I talk so much, maybe it like weakens it something, and then if I get sick, it like makes my throat really bad. So I don't know. Might have something to do with talking so much. First question for this one is from Morgan Freeman, not the Morgan Freeman. You guys know how it is. People, names on YouTube are always funny. And he says, my question for you is, how do you think non-comic fans will react to Negan's first appearance? I feel like they will have no idea what's coming and how serious of a threat the Saviors really are. Cheers. So I want to include this one near the top because I think it's a great question. And I always kind of wonder, because I can't be there because I've read, I've been reading the comic series now for like 8 years or something. I don't even know how many years, like a couple years before it started on TV. So probably like 8 years since like they were at the prison, is when I started reading it and heard about it and checked it out. So I've been doing reviews. Like I did reviews of the comic series when these issues were released. Like the part of the TV series we're covering right now, I actually did weekly or monthly issue-to-issue reviews of these ones as they're being released right now. So I remember the response when Negan first showed up, and it was the same thing with me in the comic series. Like I didn't have any idea what we were seeing, but the series was at a different spot in the comic book series where we had seen a lot of different types of threats at that point. We had seen characters like the governor, we had seen the hunters and how kind of scary they were, and we've had different threats, the scavengers and that, and the herd and everything with No Way Out and all that. But we really didn't know what we were getting into with Negan until, like, I love how Kirkman does it to where you find out what they're dealing with when they do, like when the survivors figure out. Because at first they're like, we've been through all this stuff, we're going to be fine, we can take them, no big deal. It's kind of like Daryl on the TV series. He calls it, he's like, it's nothing, right? It's just nothing. And this part's kind of spoilery for the TV series, is once they actually find out, once they actually meet Negan, they realize very quickly that, law of averages. I like how how that works out in the TV series. I'm sure they put that in on purpose. That, they're able to defeat all these villains all the way through. But now with Negan, they run into somebody that they unfortunately cannot beat. They can't, well, I shouldn't say that, but initially in that, he's not a threat. He's kind of, the governor, they couldn't really beat the governor right off the bat either too, right? But Negan is a threat where even if they kill, like at this point, they've killed so many of the saviors and everything, they still, have not really, they've scratched the surface, but, Negan has so much and he's so powerful that at this time in the state that the survivors are at right now, they will not be able to beat him. And being as such, it brings in a different type of element to the TV series we haven't seen before. So I don't think viewers are going to understand exactly what they're seeing when they see Negan, when they meet him in the finale. Their kind of response is going to probably be questioning, like, who is this guy, right? He comes in with a baseball bat. He's obviously crazy. He seems to be very happy. He seems to be very sadistic, and he enjoys bashing people's brains in. He's like incredibly fearsome. He's just a great character, man. I mean, he's a great villain. He's got such a mixture of personality. The governor is so serious, he's like, he grabs you and cuts your damn hand off and stuff, or he might joke a little bit, but most of the time he's pretty serious, and straight to the point. The Hunters and Gareth, same kind of deal. I mean, maybe a little bit calls Michonne a samurai and stuff, but for the most part, he's pretty straightforward. Negan loves to mess around. He loves to screw around. He's constantly screwing around and joking around while meanwhile he's bashing people, in front of all their friends, like bashing their heads in and stuff. He's quite the unique villain, I want to say. He's the standout villain for me from The Walking Dead thus far. Even though Alpha's cool, the Governor was great in the comic book series, Negan's the standout. So I don't think comic or TV show viewers are going to have any idea. But I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan's performance, if you've seen the leaked footage, he seems to be going kind of nutty. So I think he knows the character. If you've seen interviews with him, he's like, is it Negan? It is fucking Negan, and I'm fucking doing it. And he's all excited to do it, right? He's like, I don't care about this other show I got, whatever. What is it, The Good Wife? I don't know, whatever. Crap. But okay, maybe. There's people like these shows. I'm not going to bash romance stuff, but he's like, I don't give a shit. And he looks like he's going to come at it with some ferocity. So I think people are just going to be like, what is that? Something just hit me over the head. I don't know what that was. And yeah, that's Negan, man. So I think they're not going to know what they're seeing, but then once they kind of figure it out and that, they're going to see like, holy shit. And I think season 7 should be a great season, and especially for viewers and ratings and everything, because you've got such a strong threat. I mean, you don't have a Governor all the time. You don't have a Negan all the time. There's times in between where you get these little villains like the Hunters, like the wolves or the scavengers or a herd of zombies. You get these little Dawn and the cops. You get these little threats in between. But when you get a big bad every so often, that's always fun. It comes in. It's kind of like when the X-Men face Magneto or something, or I don't know, Superman faces Doomsday or Darkseid or something. That type of deal. It's when the real shit goes down. Okay, next question is from Tarja Sai. And here she says, hey, Trev, so the title of the next episode is Twice as Far. Do you think that is related to Too Far Gone, as in Rick's group being too far gone, but then meeting someone even further, twice as far gone? I like where you're going with this. So I think what he's saying is that, at least the interpretation that I would take from it, from your point of view or your perspective, is like twice as far and like too far gone. So maybe, well, we've also seen with Carol where she seemed to be kind of too far gone in that way, but now she seems Morgan kind of has rubbed off on her, brought her back a little bit to the point where she doesn't want to kill in that. So is that where you're going with this? I'm not sure exactly, but that's kind of an interesting concept. But twice as far. I think it'll probably be more simplistic than that. It'll probably just be dealing with one of the runs or something, and then the location or something like that, and one of the locations being further than they thought or something due to some kind of something in the way or something, like a whole bunch of zombies or something. We'll see. But I don't think it's related to the idea of too far gone or characters kind of coming back. It is like with Morgan, though, his transformation, he goes from surviving kind of more normal, so to speak, with him and his son, and then he loses everything, so he seems to be totally gone. He's killing people and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, doesn't even recognize Rick, and then he comes back a bit. So, the series is about change, the series is about development and that, and it is interesting. Like we see in Breaking Bad, Walter White go from high school chemistry teacher to drug lord, empire, badass, right? And then that's the end of it. But we never really see him go back. It seems to me that he kind of tries to, but he can't. He's too set in his ways to go that way, and that's where Breaking Bad kind of is. He can't live a normal life after he's been through that, and he goes through, it's like never enough type deal. So, you see the money in the storage thing, and it's like stacks. It's like more money than we'd ever need, and yet he can't stop, right? So that's like too far gone. But we are seeing in The Walking Dead now, which is interesting, they're bringing back some of the characters a little bit from where they were. Rick seems to be a lot more happy than he was, too, with Michonne and stuff. So makes sense, too. So I like it, too. But I think maybe you're reading into it. You could be right, but I think maybe you're reading into it a little bit too much there, Tarja. I don't know. We'll see. Next one's from Felix Strauss, and he says, Trev, do you think Something to Fear will be the best episode on The Walking Dead ever, or will it be overpowered there with No Way Out. I think he means overpowered. No Way Out, No Sanctuary, and Too Far Gone. So those are like the top three, I'd say. I think those are the top three for me anyway. Everybody's different. Some people put The Grove in there. I can't fault you for it. It's a great episode. But for me, those are my top three. This one's Something to Fear. I think if you've read the comic book series, if you like Negan, if you think that he's an amazing threat and an amazing villain to really shake stuff up and create a lot of interest again in the series, where some people think that kind of the survivor kind of just surviving, killing zombies deal, eventually it does get a little played out, right? People get a little bit bored of it. So having a villain like him to change the platform, to change the world and the way that it is, man, he is an awesome kind of stimulant to the series again to get shit back on track. Because after the Governor, it always feels like something's missing, but then he comes in and it's like you don't even know what you're seeing, but then before long you realize that he's going to be a bigger villain than the Governor, or just as big, and it turns out awesome in the end. So I think Something to Fear, because it's his first appearance, because of how excited I am to finally see him. For me, it'll probably be the best episode ever as a viewer, like as a fan, because I've been looking forward to it for so long, and issue 100 was so crazy when it hit and everything. To see that in the TV series should be the best episode ever and a turning point in the series. But that said, we have to see how it all plays out. We have to see, how much the episode includes, if there's going to be a cliffhanger. If there's a cliffhanger at the end of the episode, it kind of takes away from how great that episode is by itself and kind of makes the 7 premiere maybe one of the better episodes ever. So it's hard to say. I hope it'll be the best episode ever, but I also don't want to get my hopes up too high because, I don't want to be let down. And those are some great episodes to contend with. Too Far Gone, No Sanctuary, No Way Out. But I think that Something to Fear, issue 100 adaptation of the TV series, man, it should be. If they do it right, it should be. I would think so. Next one's from Gray Movies, and he says, "Hey Trev, or love." I think it's a couple guys. I think it's on the picture. Hey Trev, love the videos. A question for the Q&A: if episode 16 goes the way you think it will, do you think it will top? Oh, he asked the same question. I put it in there too. Sorry, dude. As the best episode of the series ever. Yeah. So I think it should, if it goes the way I envision it. If they do cliffhangers, then I don't know. We'll see. Next one's from Jeremy Brown. He says, "Hey Trev, Jeremy Brown Q&A question. In the episode The Same Boat, Carol acts really, really protective over Maggie's baby. And when she says to the redhead, 'I don't care, kill me, just don't hurt the baby,' so she's ready to die for someone. She was ready to die for Maggie, so do you think that's what will happen in the finale? Thanks." Oh, man. So would they kill Carol off? I mean, that would be a huge, huge finale if they killed off Carol as part of it. She's had a lot of time this season, though, too, right? And even with No Sanctuary, also, she got to be the hero there. She's had a lot of time throughout the show. I don't really know what they're going to do with her in the future because she doesn't exist in the comic book series. I don't really see this relationship with Tobin lasting, but I don't know if they need to use it here. I think they might be going elsewhere. So we'll see, man, but I don't think there's anything indicative so far that she would be killed off in the finale. I just think she's one of the better characters in the series. That said, Robert Kirkman did say she's the safest character in the show. And when he says that, I almost think the opposite now, because I think he likes to troll us. And I think it's just kind of the way he's a little sadistic in that way. Maybe he's got a little Negan in him, too. He did create him, after all, so he's got to have a little bit. It's like Rick says, good side. Negan maybe is his dark side. I don't know Kirkman personally. I've just seen interviews with him. Okay, next one is from Brian Donovan, and we'll make that the last one for this one. He says, "Hey Trev, big question for your Q&A. In the comics, it seems the Saviors don't really like Negan, yet they fall in line out of fear. But in the show, it seems like he's got this weird cult following with the We Are Negan thing. I'd say that makes them even more dangerous adversaries because they'd be willing to do anything for him, like suicide missions or who knows what else. As history has shown us, whenever you have a deranged person with influence over tons of people who blindly follow him, it can be very dangerous situation." Any thoughts? So I like the first part of your question for sure. So yeah, he does have kind of this cult following thing, but I think in the comic books he kind of explained that too, where Negan kind of actually lets Rick know what it is, and it's that he makes them feel safe as long as they listen to him. He makes them feel like he's the biggest, baddest, MFer in the world, and he makes his followers feel safe. So when a group like Rick's group attacks and they get absolutely blindsided and wiped out, they find comfort in, knowing that blood's coming, knowing that Negan is still there, and that if you do this to me, you're going to pay for it, right? And it's that kind of deal. He does. He makes them feel safe, and he keeps them. They're afraid of him. They're afraid to get out of line. But he makes them feel safe with regards to others out there, because it's like, do you have any idea what you're doing type deal? I'm under Negan, and, it's kind of I'm a protected deal. It's kind of like if you look at like gangster movies, or, even in the real world, you have gangs and stuff like that. Even cops will sometimes know that there's certain people that they may not arrest, or maybe I shouldn't say that, but, you have certain people that are under others in these systems, right? And they feel a certain amount of security because they might be like like a made man, for example, like that kind of concept. Another guy can't just come up, and if he doesn't like, somebody who's made, can't just go and kill the guy, if he wants to. If the other people in that mob find out about that, or, whatever kind of system you're talking about, they will kill him. So they have a certain amount of security in their pyramid system, that they're kind of there, and it kind of gives them something to believe in, gives them something to be a part of, and they kind of, they adhere to it, and so they kind of feel like they have this because they're a part of it. They have this kind of protection from it because they're in it, right? So I think that's the best way I would kind of look at it and complain it to. Negan's like a mob boss, kind of. It's kind of in a lot of ways. I've said that from the beginning, from when he first came out, because he's offering protection for people to pay to him. That's a lot like, mob and stuff. Or, you could go back to the Age of Kings and stuff like that, where they would make people pay taxes, and then if they do, they're in their kingdom, and if they don't, then they'll, punish them or whatever. It's the same kind of concept. Kirkman's a genius. You guys know what it is. Anyway, I'll call it here for today. There's a lot of Negan talk today, so that's fun. Love talking about Negan. Can't talk about Negan enough. One of my favorite characters in all The Walking Dead for sure. If you guys like the video, you know what to do. Please thumb it up, guys. Please don't forget to thumb them up. I always appreciate when you guys do. It helps out the videos, helps out the channel. You can share at the bottom left if you got a Facebook, or you got a friend who watches The Walking Dead but doesn't know about the channel and you want to tell them. I'd appreciate it. I do appreciate it. And if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one today. I'll see you guys again tomorrow probably. As always, it's Trev saying peace. See you guys.